There are two types of people split alongside the personality trait known as conscientiousness. People that have a high level of conscientiousness are naturally inclined and driven to finish all the work, not leave anything half done, not leave any loose ends. This applies to work they've initiated or work that has been given to them by someone else as well. However, just because they're naturally inclined to get the work done doesn't mean they're also naturally able to do it effectively, so time management and energy management techniques are very useful to them as well. Equally important, these personalities can end up being a bit too hard on themselves, constantly feeling bad for not doing enough, not being able to live up to the impossibly high standards they set on themselves about what they think they should be able to achieve. Balkan folklore has it that vampires are compelled to count everything they see. So what superstitious people used to do back in the day was to throw a fistful of poppy seeds at the cemetery gates. The idea being that the vampires would wake up in their crypts, they would try to go to the village to find some victims, and they would see the poppy seeds and they would be compelled to stop and count each of them, and by the time they would manage to finish, the sun would rise back up again and they would be forced to go back to their crypts, and this way they would never manage to get out of the cemetery gates just because of their compulsion to count everything they saw. Poor suckers. Very high conscientiousness personalities can end up just like those vampires sometimes, compelled to do everything, unable to skip or prioritize anything or to drop anything, so they need to learn how to chill a bit. On the other side of the spectrum, we have people with low conscientiousness score, and they have a very different attitude towards work. It's not that they dislike work or that they are incapable of it, it's just that they don't feel compelled to do it. They don't feel like they have to do everything or finish everything they start or leave everything in order and neat. They're much more driven about how they feel about the work that's in front of them, and if they like it, they can dive really deep. But if they don't like it, they have no problem delaying it for days and days at a time. Procrastination is a real issue here. These personalities constantly struggle with some types of tasks, while at the same time having no problems getting other types of tasks done effectively. It's like how I can spend 12 hours non-stop writing something I'm passionate about, forgetting even to eat while I do that, but that 1 hour of accounting I have to do once a month fills me with dread, and I always postpone it to the last possible minute and not 1 second before. So, high conscientiousness personalities need to learn when to stop, prioritize and focus on the most important tasks, and don't feel so bad about not getting to some of the least important ones. 2 hours spent on a high-value task can bring a lot more outcome than 12 hours spent on something that is not as important. It's not all about the quantity of effort. Not all the poppy seeds are equal, and not all of them need to be counted. Chill, smile, have fun while working once in a while. Yes, you can mix work with fun and being a little silly, and it's not going to explode. Take an unexpected break, do something weird, take the wrong turn on the way home.
Somebody help me! I'm being spontaneous!
And the low conscientiousness personalities need to make a list. Don't forget to make a list. Did I say make a list? Don't forget to read the list in the morning. Make a habit out of consulting and updating that list. Fake it until you make it. Remind yourself somehow, put post-its all over your desk, whatever it takes. Do it every day for about a month and a half, and it will become second nature. As you work, avoid distractions and multitasking. Try to focus on what you're doing. Techniques like Pomodoro or variations on the theme might be helpful. For both personalities, don't try to move to the other extreme just because you want to fix something with how you approach your time management and energy management. For the high conscientiousness personalities, don't try to go all hippie overnight. It won't work, and all it will achieve is that it will make you hate hippies even more than you already do.
Goddamn hippie! Whoa, dude!
For the low conscientiousness personalities, don't over-engineer that list. Keep it simple. Don't imagine that now you can organize every minute of your work with robot-like efficiency. All you'll do is you'll drive yourself crazy. All in all, personalities aside, learning how to manage your time, your priorities, and your energy will have a huge positive impact in your productivity and in your satisfaction with your work. Just by avoiding distractions and prioritizing the important things, you will gain so much. Learning how to focus on the value and prioritize the most valuable things first, avoiding the busy work, avoiding just effort for the sake of effort, is going to be a game changer. Whatever you do, the change will take time. Time management is not a difficult thing to understand in principle, but in my experience, these are some of the most difficult habits to change about ourselves. You can read the perfect book and get the perfect recipe, but that means almost nothing, because the real challenge is about changing decades-old, hardwired habits and ways of doing it that you're not even aware of. Also, don't try to do what someone else did just because it worked for them. It doesn't matter how Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Gandhi, or whoever organized their day and how they managed their time. That worked for them, for their personalities and their context, and it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. You have to find your own style, your own approach. No matter how hard you try, you can't successfully adopt a model that is completely contrary to who you are. You can adopt a model that changes you to some degree, that challenges you to improve in some areas, but not everything at the same time. It's not about digging a hole through the mountain to the other side. It's not about the sheer will of reshaping everything about how you organize your time. It's about finding the path that is going to take you there with the least amount of effort for you. The paths may be different for different people. Smart, not hard. Okay, maybe it's not going to be easy, but not harder than it has to be. That's it. Ciao!